Hello guys, welcome back. So let's continue. Moving on to question 132. A patient has visual impairment, sector anopia. Sector means a part, anopia means loss of vision. So a part of visual vision is lost, not the full. Otherwise it would be anopia. So sector anopia of medial field of vision on the right and lateral field of vision on the left. Which part of visual analyzer has pathological changes? So to solve this question, this is the normal visual pathway. It starts with your eyes. There's some crisscrossing. Let's see what it is, and then it ends in the visual cortex. And if you remember, the visual cortex is in the occipital lobe. Area number 17 is the primary visual cortex. Let's start off by drawing two eyeballs. And here I have drawn the visual field of each eye. Now I can divide each visual field into two halves. A more medial, that will be in the nasal half, and the lateral half, or it will be called as the temporal half. So now what's there to learn that the visual fields are projected on retina on the opposite side. That is, the temporal visual field is projected on the more medial retina on both sides, and the nasal visual field is projected on the lateral half of retina. And now the fibers coming from the lateral retina, they do not cross, they go on the same side, same on this side, but the fibers which are coming from the medial retina, they cross to the opposite side, like so. So again, the visual field, they are projected onto the opposite retina. So the nasal visual field is projected onto the lateral retina, and the temporal visual field is projected onto the medial retina. And the fibers coming from the lateral retina, they do not cross, they go to the same side of the brain, or they are on the same side of the pathway. But the fibers which are coming from the medial half of retina, they cross and they go to the opposite side. Simple H-shaped pathway. This is what you have to learn. Now let's also see what is this would be called your optic nerve. This and this area, the crisscross, it is what? Optic chiasma. Chiasma, the crisscross, the nerve fibers are going to the opposite side, and this would be called the optic tract. So this is your basic pathway and the basic terminology, and this is the only thing that you should know for CROG. Otherwise, it is a little more detailed. For example, here I can show you. Same in this picture. Let's see. The retina is projected onto the visual field is projected onto the opposite side of retina. The lateral nerve fibers from the lateral half, they do not cross, they go on the same side, as you can see here. But from the nerve fibers from the medial half of retina, they cross and they go to the opposite side, like you can see here. So again, this was your optic nerve, this is the optic chiasma, and this is your optic tract. Now, up to here, the questions are asked in CROG, but overall, the pathway, the optic tract goes to the lateral geniculate body. And what is there in the medial geniculate body? The auditory pathway. The auditory nerves, they go to the medial geniculate body. And then they go to the visual cortex as optic radiation. Even it has two parts, the one which crosses from the temporal lobe and the other which does not. But I don't think you need to go into that detail. It's mainly for USMLE. For CROG, you just need to know up to here. But obviously, you should know the lateral geniculate body and the occipital lobe, where the primary visual cortex is located. So yeah, our main task is to solve the questions regarding the visual field effects. And if you know the visual field pathway, we can also answer the visual field effects. So yeah, if you see there's a damage to the optic nerve, there will be for example, they have written total blindness on the right. Why? Because both these fibers are nerve fibers. They cannot go to the occipital cortex. Information cannot be received. So all of this visual field the person can't see. So that is the anopia. It is called anopia. And now, if there's a defect in the optic chiasma, here optic chiasma, you can see only the nerve fibers from the medial half of retina were crossing here, and medial half of retina was receiving from the opposite visual field. That is the temporal visual field. So what will be the visual field effect? That is the bitemporal hemianopia. It is probably the most asked one in CROC. Bitemporal hemianopia, or also called heteronymous hemianopia. So bitemporal means two temporal, that is the temporal regions of both eye are affected. Hemianopia means there is blindness only in the half part of eye. So you can see that the medial visual field is fine, and on this blindness only in the temporal visual field or the lateral visual field. Next, the optic tract. So the optic tract was receiving like you can see now, you can make it out, and if there's optic tract damage, there will be so left half of both eyes, and if there's damage to the left optic tract, there will be defect in the right half of both visual field. Now you have to look in the question if they're asking about the visual field or retina. So wait a little, we'll see that in questions. So the optic field defect they have shown here. So yeah, this was a left homonymous hemianopia. Three main defects. If there is damage to the optic nerve, you will be having anopia. If there is damage to the optic chiasma, there will be bitemporal hemianopia. And if there is a defect in optic tract or damage to the optic tract, there will be homonymous hemianopia. Why homonymous? Because the same side of visual field, if left part in the one eye, then in other eye also left part. And hemianopia, why? Because there is only half blindness, not full. Full blindness is when the optic nerve is damaged, and that will be called anopia. So again, optic tract homonymous. Why? Because if this optic tract is damaged, there will be visual defect in the right visual field or left half of retina. So let's move on to that question. So the question says that there is, let's first of all draw the visual field and see what they're saying. Medial field of vision on the right. So this is right, this is left, this is the medial field, and lateral field of vision on the left. So tell me, this is what? Homonymous hemianopia, homonymous hemianopia. So here the answer should be what? Because these will be projected onto the opposite retina. So here the answer should be right optic tract, because they are saying there's problem in the field of vision and not retina. But the ministry book gives the answer as A, that is the left optic tract. But remember now the CROC or the center, they are trying to correct all the wrong questions. So you have to answer the right one and not which is given in the ministry book. Ministry book is only for your base or only to develop your knowledge. So here anyways the answer would be right optic tract. Now let's look similar question 149. So they are saying that there's a tumor in the left, that in the side of left visual tract or the left optic tract. So left optic tract means homonymous hemianopia. So now let's see first of all what in the options they are talking about retina or the visual field. They are talking about the retina. Now let's go back to this picture. They were talking about the left optic tract and they were talking about the retina and not the visual field. So which retina is affected? The left retina, left hemiretina. So here the answer would be sector enopia in the left half of retina of both eyes. Now let's also look at some other questions related to this topic. And so again, brain tumor in the area of left optic tract. Again, the answer would be left half of both eyes retina. And if they were saying about the visual field, then it would be the right. Next question, functional laws of nasal half of retina. Again, they are talking about retina and not the visual field. So the nasal half of retina, you know, they were crossing in the optic chiasma. So here the answer would be optic chiasma. Because if there's an optic chiasma, it can be affected by pituitary adenoma. If there's pituitary tumor, it can compress the optic chiasma and there can be bitemporal hemianopia. So, okay, next question, they are just blah, 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 blah. And here the loss of vision is again the lateral half of both eyes. Now you can see they're talking about the vision. They're talking about this defect, bitemporal hemianopia. They're not talking about the retina. So anyways, answer is what? The optic chiasma. So anyways, practice this, draw it yourself, understand what will be the visual field defect if any part of visual pathway is affected, and so you can answer the questions accordingly. So let's also talk about next question, question 133, that a man has convulsive reductions of diaphragm and what nerve should be blocked to liquidate this complication. So anyways, the diaphragm, if you know, is innervated by the phrenic nerve. And very important is its root value. The root value is C3 to C5, that is cervical 3 to cervical 5. And it is the only motor nerve to the diaphragm. And what are its sensory fibers? They supply to the nearby structures, that is, they supply to the pericardium. They supply to the mediastinal pleura. And they also supply to the diaphragmatic peritoneum. And if you remember, it was these are its sensory and these are motor is only to the diaphragm. And if you remember, it is it crosses anteriorly to the anterior scalene muscle. Like I told you previously that you should know the relations of the scalene muscles and with the vessels and the nerves. So I'll link the video in the description box. You can check. So every video has different topics and the timestamps are in the comment box. You can check that. So another important point I want you to remember about phrenic nerve is that irritation of phrenic nerve, it causes hiccups. That is the spasmodic contractions of the diaphragm. So another point that is basically, it is a physiology, that they say that if there's a spinal resection, at C1, what will happen to the respiration? So you know that the phrenic nerve is C3 to C5, and if there is resection of spinal cord above, it's above where phrenic nerve is given. So the respiration will stop. It will not happen. Why? Because the diaphragm cannot contract, and diaphragm is the main muscle for inspiration, if you remember. So yeah, so if there's spinal cord dissection at C1, the respiration will stop. There will be no respiration, not even shallow, no deep. The respiration will stop. So if they say at C3, again the respiration will not take place, and at any level below C5. So and at any level below C5, the respiration will not stop. It will take place. So that was its clinical significance. So anyways, the answer would be what? Phrenic nerve. Because convulsive reductions, again, it's having what? Hiccups. These are what? Hiccups. And it is because of irritation or the stimulation of phrenic nerve. So to stop this, the phrenic nerve should be blocked.